Welcome back to Excel, a mental evolution podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Seth Rose. And today is episode 30, where we are continuing the talks of Brad Stulberg's 8 Principles of Excellence. And today's principle, he says, make the hard things easier. And what he means by that is a little bit deeper than just the obvious, right? But what he's saying is not to rely on willpower if you don't need to. So, for example, designing your life and your habits in such a way that difficult tasks or hard things become routine, and then by design become easier over time. So, simplifying complex tasks into manageable steps. Ultimately, that's going to lead to better confidence, better skill mastery, less mental, we'll call it mental resistance, or sometimes I use the phrase cognitive load. So there's less load to the system because we've routinized these daily tasks in a way that help us take complex things, hard things, and simplify them to make them a bit more easier for us. So some applications or some examples here. One way that we can do this is by breaking down a particular skill. So you would break down hard skills into smaller, easier to manage skills that then you can practice those individually before integrating them into the bigger picture or as a whole. So, for example, if you're learning to run statistics on a particular program and you're learning to run data that you have coming in, one way to do that is you would split out the components of what you want to learn, steps, if you will. Maybe you split it by weeks and you start with basic fundamentals week 1. Then you progress to a little bit more complex concepts week 2. And then you progress and they build off of each other. And soon enough, you'll be running complex data and analyzing it effectively. You don't want to take it all at once where that might be a little bit more overwhelming. Another way that we can make hard things easier is we can design our environment. So arranging the physical and social elements of your environment to help us encourage natural behaviors that you want to create. So for example, creating or setting up your home office to improve productivity. So maybe this might include having a clean desk policy, having your desk near a window for natural light, having things easily within reach for you to get things done, so that way you don't have to get up and down from your chair multiple times, right? And then lastly, another piece that we can make hard things easier is we can work on our time or our energy management. So for time management, maybe that's where you're prioritizing things and writing out to-do lists and making sure that you're delegating if you need to. Energy management, understanding where your natural periods of times during the day are, where you're going to feel more alert versus more experiencing those dips, maybe like post-lunch. And really like where then we schedule in particular tasks during those periods of time where you can be more productive in the times that you're alert, and then you can do less complex tasks or menial tasks or check the block items when you are feeling a little bit lower in energy. And we'll talk way more in depth of time and energy management. But managing those two very small steps can definitely help make the hard things easier. All right, thanks for sticking around today. Episode 30, Making the Hard Things Easier.